Parshuram, the immortal warrior sage, had fulfilled his mission of purging the earth of adharmic kshatriyas. He had guided the greatest warriors of the Mahabharata era, Bhishma, Drona, and Karna, and had stepped back into silence, retreating into deep forests and mountains. But unlike other incarnations of Vishnu, Parshuram did not vanish. His story did not end with war. Instead, his presence extended beyond the battlefield, into philosophy, into spiritual leadership, and into the future yet to come. According to real and ancient scriptures, including the Mahabharata, and references aligning with the essence of the Bhagavad Gita, Parshuram's existence symbolized the fierce aspect of Dharma, where compassion does not mean weakness, and detachment does not mean inaction. As Lord Krishna explains in the Gita, whenever there is decline in righteousness and rise of unrighteousness, I manifest myself. Parshuram was one such manifestation, not only to destroy, but to establish truth and right conduct. After the Mahabharata war, when the Kurukshetra field had turned into a graveyard of millions, Parshuram witnessed the bitter fruit of adharma, ego, revenge, ambition. He had trained warriors to uphold righteousness, but even they were pulled into karmic entanglements. Karna's fall due to deceit, Drona's emotional collapse, and Bhishma's burden of vow, each bore the tragedy of misplaced dharma. Parshuram, reflecting upon these events, realized that the true war was not outside, it was within. Thus began the next phase of his life, not as a destroyer, but as a seer of inner war, the spiritual master who understood the deepest truths of karma, detachment, and self-realization. Much like what Lord Krishna taught Arjuna in the Gita, he began to live in complete anonymity, meditating in the caves of the Mahendra Hills, the Himalayas, and the Dandaka forest. He observed the world, but did not interfere unless the fabric of Dharma was in direct peril. Many believe that he spent this period training select disciples, not in the art of killing, but in the art of balance. His weapon, the Parshu, became symbolic of the two blades of wisdom and power. According to legends preserved in real Vaishnava traditions, one of his secret disciples was Rishi Vishravas, the father of Ravana and Kubera, from whom great lineages emerged. While this link is not detailed in the Bhagavad Gita directly, the message aligns that every being carries potential for rise or fall, depending on the inner guidance, the Atmic knowledge Parshuram began imparting. His presence becomes important once again in the scriptures during the end of Dvapara Yuga and beginning of Kali Yuga. While the Gita does not name Parshuram directly, the philosophical foundation Krishna lays down mirrors Parshuram's actions: Nishkama karma, action without desire; Vairagya, detachment; and Kshatriya dharma, righteous battle. These formed the very spine of Parshuram's teachings. As Kali Yuga progressed, Parshuram entered deeper tapasya, preparing for one final divine duty. The Vishnu Purana and Kalki Purana mention clearly, in the final days of the Kali Yuga, when adharma reaches its peak and the earth forgets all sense of truth, Kalki, the 10th and final avatar of Vishnu, will descend, and it will be Guru Parshuram who will emerge from his solitude to train Kalki in divine warfare and Dharma Yuddha. Unlike other gurus, Parshuram's training is expected to be complete, not only in astras and shastras, but in spiritual clarity. Kalki will not just need weapons, but wisdom, the same wisdom Parshuram had acquired through observing generations fall into cycles of pride and pain. He will be the guru of the final avatar, a role no other being mortal or divine, has held across yugas. The scriptures mention Parshuram's role as a guide, not as an emperor, not as a god demanding worship, but as a still flame in the darkness. His greatest gift will be his silence, the kind that carries eternal knowledge, not written in books, but in the breath of time. As for where he is today, real spiritual texts and yogic traditions mention that Parshuram resides in the Mahendragiri hills, in present-day Odisha, meditating and watching. Some say he moves freely through realms, unattached to body, mastering time itself. A few yogis in the Himalayas believe that he appears only to those whose karmas are pure and whose purpose is Dharma. Unlike other immortals, Parshuram seeks no temple, no worship, only truth. As the Bhagavad Gita reminds us, the one who sees inaction in action and action in inaction is truly wise. This verse, deeply aligned with Parshuram's conduct, speaks of those who act with complete detachment, not for reward, but for cosmic balance. This was Parshuram's path, and this shall remain his legacy. He is not merely the destroyer of Kshatriyas. He is not merely the student of Shiva. He is not only the teacher of Bhishma or the punisher of Karna. He is the eternal axis of Dharma, silent, still, but never absent. After centuries of retreat and silence, Guru Parshuram remained the most enigmatic figure of all the Vishnu avatars. While other incarnations completed their missions and returned to the divine realms, Parshuram alone chose to stay. He did not reside in palaces or temples, nor did he seek disciples openly. His very existence became a hidden flame, a guardian, watching over the Dharma of the world from the shadows. In the folds of ancient forests, atop high Himalayan peaks, and deep within remote caves, Parshuram entered a realm beyond mortal comprehension. He became not just a sage, but an immortal witness, a living embodiment of the Bhagavad Gita's wisdom. Yogastha kuru karmani sangam tyaktva dhananjaya. Perform your duty, being steadfast in yoga, abandoning attachment, O Arjuna. Parshuram was now beyond rage, beyond vengeance, and beyond grief. His destructive past was complete. What remained was silence, observation, and readiness. The scriptures suggest that during this age of concealment, Parshuram refined his knowledge not just of weapons, but of higher yogic siddhis. His powers were not limited to the physical. He mastered mantra shakti, mental weaponry, and subtle cosmic forces that even devas revered but feared to wield. It is believed that Parshuram possessed command over Brahmastra, Pashupatastra, Narayanastra, and secret divine weapons granted only to those who had not a trace of ego. These astras were not just tools of destruction. They were embodiments of spiritual truths. Each weapon, like the Pashupatastra from Shiva, required inner purity, complete surrender, and one-pointed focus, all of which Parshuram had attained. But beyond the physical, Parshuram entered realms of Atmajnana, self-realization. He began teaching chosen yogis not how to destroy, but how to discipline the mind, control the senses, and realize the self. The very teaching Lord Krishna had given to Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita. Through silence, he passed on inner fire to sages who would carry Dharma through the worst phases of Kali Yuga. These sages, unknown to history, remain scattered across India, preserving mantras, tapasya, and truth without fame. Parshuram, the unseen, became their eternal guide. One of the most profound aspects of his later life is linked with time. Parshuram is believed to have transcended the normal constraints of mortality. Ancient texts, such as the Kalki Purana, declare him Chiranjeevi, timeless. Not just in body, but in spirit, he became Trikalagyani, a knower of past, present, and future. He could enter moments, foresee consequences, and withdraw without altering fate unless Dharma was at stake. As Kali Yuga deepened and righteousness diminished, Parshuram's presence, though unseen, began to grow stronger. Real seers and yogis often mentioned visions of a warrior in saffron robes, holding an axe, who appeared during extreme spiritual need. These were not hallucinations. They were moments when Dharma's axis was tilting, and Parshuram's inner radar responded. But the final chapter of his saga is yet to unfold. According to scriptural prophecy, when the darkness of Kali Yuga reaches its climax, when cruelty, ego, falsehood, and corruption dominate the earth entirely, Lord Kalki, the final avatar of Vishnu, will descend upon the white horse Devadatta, wielding a sword of fire. And it is foretold that Parshuram will be his guru. This will be the first and only time that a Vishnu avatar trains another Vishnu avatar. Parshuram will emerge from the Mahendragiri hills or his Himalayan abode. He will not carry vengeance, but the distilled power of all Dharmic history. He will initiate Kalki into the supreme arts, not only celestial weapons, but the inner science of destruction without attachment. It is said Parshuram will hand over his divine axe, the Parshu, to Kalki, symbolizing the end of his own mission and the rise of the final purifier. That moment will signify the closure of his cycle across the yugas. But why Parshuram? Why would he alone, out of all divine beings, be chosen as the guru of the final avatar? The answer lies again in the Bhagavad Gita. Lord Krishna says, Tad vidi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya, upadekshyanti te jnanam janinas tattva darshina. Learn the truth by approaching a realized master. They will impart knowledge, for they have seen the truth. Parshuram is that realized master, not merely through words, but through direct experience of every aspect of Dharma. Birth, training, sacrifice, anger, penance, guidance, failure, renunciation, and ultimately, immortality. No one else has walked through such vast terrain of karma and wisdom. And thus, Kalki will bow before him, not as a student to a god, but as truth saluting truth. When Kalki rises to destroy Adharma with a sword of flame, it will carry within it Parshuram's resolve, Shiva's power, and Vishnu's compassion, a culmination of all avatars. And when the final cleansing is done, when Kali Yuga ends and Satya Yuga dawns again, Parshuram's duty will be fulfilled. Then, it is believed, he will lay down his Parshu forever, sit on the mountaintop, and merge into the Supreme, into Narayana, the eternal self beyond names and forms. Parshuram's message for the ages. Even today, the real meaning of Guru Parshuram is not limited to myth. His essence exists within anyone who fights inner injustice before fighting outer, balances power with wisdom, acts without attachment, speaks truth without pride, guides without seeking worship. Parshuram lives in the silence of every righteous heart, the quiet flame that burns not to destroy, but to purify. As we unfold the divine saga of Parshuram's extraordinary deeds, stay with us, for the journey ahead is filled with truth, valor, and eternal wisdom.